know you've been waiting on the video for level 13 because this is brutal. I think this is probably the hardest level that they've made, and you all know why. It's because the last section, the boxes. I like to flip off of there. I like to see how close my head can come in there. And now what we're approaching is what I call section 1. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this entire video, and then I'll break down these 3 sections that I consider to be the most important areas of this level. Right there you see me, I just take that, that's the route that I take, and then from here you just catch that first star, you fall down, don't go too fast off that second lip, and then you can set up for that ramp and jump all the way up there. I love it. I love the way this flows when you get it just right, and I like the challenge. I like to stop there just to settle the suspension so my head doesn't hit, because you don't want to get to that point and then die for something silly. Alright, so this is what I would call section 2 in this loop here. Okay, I like to come up here, and normally I don't do this. I don't fall like that. Now watch this. It gets even worse. I hit the button and I fall all the way back down. Oh my goodness, I hate this. I left it in the video because, eventually I do get all 3 stars and not die. And I'm always a believer that you shouldn't give up. You should continue on and go for it. If it's a speed run, that's different. But right here, we're trying to get these stars. We're trying to survive. Use some throttle control there, and you'll get it. Now, this is going to seem a little bit odd what I do, but I'll break it down again a little bit later. I like to set up my back wheel at a precise spot so I can bonsai out there and lock in. That's what I call the locked in position, is right there with my front wheel. I've said it many times in many videos. If I can get my front wheel on something, then I can get on top of it, okay? So you get into this locked position and you get your front wheel up there. Now what I'm showing you here is the slow way to get across these boxes. If you continue to watch to the end of the video, I'll show you the fastest way that I've ever done it. Now, of all the times I've done this level, I've only done it that way 1 time, but luckily, very luckily, I was recording on it, which is great because now I can share it with you guys, and I'll show you the way that you can get through fast. But the way I'm doing it now is consistent, and you guys know, ooh, there's the 3rd star, we got it. But I'm always about consistent because I want to share with you how to get through it. 3rd star done, moving on here. So look at my time. I knock in a 139.37, which was really slow, but my goal here was to get 3 stars and the trophy at the end. Now let's go back and let's break this down, and we'll look at the 3 sections that I think are really important. Now this is what I would call section 1, and it sets up right here with what I'm going to call a delayed jump. The temptation is to jump right up here off the lip, but in this case you're actually just going to go straight off the lip and you're going to jump somewhere in this area here. And then that sets you up perfect to get yourself up into that loop area. Now the second part of this is once I get into the loop, I actually let off the throttle when I'm near the top of this. Because if I go too fast through this loop, then I come out with too much speed. So at that point, I'm letting off the throttle. Now I'm back on the throttle when I'm in the air, and you have about a split second here to decide if you should lean forwards or backwards to set yourself up to hit this first board there. And it's critical the approach that you take on this first board. I chose knock my back wheel, tap the front wheel. Now if you notice, the gap between the second and the third boards here is larger than what it was from the first and second and the third and fourth. So what you're going to have to do is in the air, you're going to have to do another delayed jump. You're just going to fall off this like you normally would, and somewhere in this area here, you're going to hit that jump button, and that'll set you up on that third board to continue on. Do you see that? And then I'll jump off of there and then do my jump to get all the way up into there. So that's how I got through section 1. Now what we're doing is we're getting into section 2, and this I pulled it. It wasn't for the one that I showed earlier. This is another one that I went through clean on this section. I hit the jump button right in this area here, and then when I get up to the top here, I hit the jump button again just to make sure my head clears, although I can get through there without doing the jump button. Now at this point here, what I like to do is I like to lead with my rear wheel, because if I'm carrying a lot of speed, I don't want my head to hit when I come up, so I'll actually lead with my rear wheel. Now once again, you've heard me mention it a couple times, you're going to have to do a delayed jump. So you just come straight off of this, and then somewhere in this area here, you just need to hit the jump button, and then that'll set you up really smooth to get into that section. You don't want to hit your head doing that. Now we get into section 3, and you know this is the challenge right here. So the way I do it when I set this up is I always lean on my front wheel there, and what I'm trying to do at this point is I'm trying to place my rear wheel right here on that line, or as close to it as I can, and that way, by being consistent and putting my rear wheel at the same spot every time, I know what I'm going to get, and I know where I can land off of this. So I placed the rear wheel, I hammered down, and I just bonsai off the top of that because I already know that it's going to get me close. Now at this point I'm in the air, I'm trying to ID this box right here, and you only have a split second to make this happen to decide if you should hit the jump button or not. So in this case I needed a little bit more of the jump button. It locks me in, and there's the position that I'm going to call the locked position, my front wheel locked position, because once I get into that position I'm good to go, and I know that I'm good to go. So now I want to try and do is get my rear wheel onto the top of that, and that'll set me up. So now at this point here, this is what I would call my rear wheel locked position, where I'm in good shape if I can get it to here and I know I can make it to the next box, because your goal is to get yourself front wheel locked into the next one. So there I go front wheel locked, and then I'm going to try and jump up and get my rear wheel down on this. Once again, this is the slower way to do it, but it's consistent. I can get through this, I don't know, at least half the time, I would say, if I do it this way. If I try and go the fast way, it's very, very rare that I can get through that. Now what I like to do here in an ideal situation is I like to take and jump from this box over to this one and plant my rear wheel on this, and then just jump all the way up and off of that and get that star. Unfortunately in this case, when I went through this one, my rear wheel didn't make it over there, so I had to just kind of lock in and, you know, go the front wheel and then get my rear wheel to lock and hope that I could make it. It's a really difficult jump, and I had to time it so that I could catch that at the bottom of the star, or when the star was at this lowest point. So this is the slower route, but I want to show you the fastest run I ever made through the boxes. Now look at my time, it's looking really good. I'm trying to get through these boxes, and I happen to mess up right here, and I fall down. So instead of being patient, as soon as I restart, I just hammer down, and I'd go across, I'd do a delayed jump, and look at the results. Boom, boom, boom. Bam! I catch the jump. Perfect. Look up at the time, folks. I am hauling on this thing, going through it. I end up throwing down an 87.44, which at the time was third best. I don't even know if it's still in the system or not, but it's documented right there. It was amazing that I did that. And I'm going to run this in slow-mo for you, and hopefully this helps get you through it, because this is really how the boxes were designed to blast through. Unfortunately, it's really, really difficult to time it and do it consistently. So when I do it, I actually end up doing normally the lock technique is what I would call it, where, you know, I lock my front wheel and get up there, and it's really slow, but I can get through it a lot better than when I try it this way. But it's there for you. Good luck, everybody. I hope you enjoy playing the game, and hope this gets you through level 13 so you can do 14, 15, and 16. See you online.